Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, Rovi, and mscribe, and today we got more DMT updates.
Big ones, dude. A lot has happened over the last weekend, I would say.
So it's been a whole week since we talked about DMT, I believe.
I don't know about a whole week. It was literally like a few days ago.
I thought it was Monday.
And then we did again, like I think on Thursday or something like that. You know, the Natcats happened.
Oh, that's right.
I think Wednesday. So we're like, hey, we got to explain what are these UNATs?
That's right.
You know, these unique non-arbitrary tokens. What is this new art collection that is like has been manifested through this generative
correct
script, and that is now, you know, part of the DMT ecosystem, right? So we had to explain that, and I think a lot of you guys understood what is happening. I mean, the Natcats are literally the talk of the town, dude.
Yeah, they've been going for like a floor price of like $1,000 here and there.
Really? I didn't know it got that high. Last I checked, it was like $500-600.
Oh, was it really? Okay.
I mean, that's pretty wild considering this was basically a free mint. I mean, it was. The only thing you had to pay for was
the minting costs,
the gas fees,
Bitcoin
fees. So yeah, it's pretty insane to see what's happening. This is purely organic. Like we said in the last video, we thought we were gonna have to like drop some showcase of like how do you properly deploy a unique non-arbitrary token. Didn't have to do it.
Yeah, we got front ran by the
Big
community,
time. And it was great. Like I love the collection myself. You know.
Yeah, and EV, the guy who created this, he put some thought into it, and he attributed kind of like a numeric pattern of a block height, and used that as the actual rarity for the cats.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's genius, and I think there's different ways that you could apply that using block data, and this is just one example.
Yeah,
and once we're able to support all of the fields on Bitcoin, we're going to see this like 1000x more complex, you know, different, all kinds of art basically.
Yeah. Assets in general, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's starting with the art, you know, the 2D art renditions and stuff, because, you know, that's probably like the most likely of candidates to take advantage and leverage this like new generative like minting process for assets, digital assets, right? Yeah. So it's crazy. Like, to kind of like actualize or realize like the scope of how big this can actually get over time. It's pretty wild when you think about it, you know, and it's cool that the community's already picking up on how to actually deploy this stuff on their own and come up with their own valuable use cases, you know, and it's literally a market forming before our own eyes. Yeah. Like its own unique market, right?
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about some of the different community members deploying these tokens.
Yeah, basically, that's going to become like our task, is to keep our eyes on this.
Yeah.
As the ecosystem evolves and matures over time, because you know what we're doing, what we did with an NAT token itself, it was probably like the most basic, primitive, like version of like a fungible token you could come up with, but not necessarily, just because you know it was so ubiquitously distributed, which is what we wanted. But we knew in the future, once there's more fields and there's like really interesting patterns that are being discovered, people are going to derive like utility use cases that we didn't even anticipate, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. So let's go into the details here. So we just tweeted, who said NAT mints were useless throwaway inscriptions? Not us. So if you have an NAT mint in your wallet, check out the mscribe inventory, and it says DMT equals real value creation. So take a look at this. So here I just show like a quick video of like the different permutations of what you could see for your non-arbitrary token here.
That looks like literally like a disco ball.
Right.
It's pretty trippy.
Yeah. And so as blocks get added to Bitcoin, right, you get a brand new unique asset added to Bitcoin as well, the NAT.
Yeah.
And so these mints are the unique non-arbitrary token, and but the unique non-arbitrary token comes with a fungible asset, you know, when you mint it. So the mint typically is when it hits your wallet at first. The balance accrues based off of like what the data is that you're pointing to. So in this case, it's bits. Right. So your balance just keeps going up when you mint these.
Correct.
And so each mint has its own block number.
Yes.
And so what we did was we said, hey, use a block number as a unique asset, tie some sort of like art to it, and then now you have your like unique non-arbitrary token.
Correct.
And so now we have this. And so this is just our on our way to like updating the standard to support these UNATs so that everybody can create UNATs in the same way that Natcats guy created UNATs.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this is a good demonstration of like the hybrid token thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you truly did generate basically two distinctive assets, you know, at this token genesis event, this TGE. You know, people weren't aware at the time when they were minting NAT token that this is actually the shell that does account for that accrual you're talking about. Every single time you're minting an inscription, it's just you know, typically in other fungible token standards like BRC20, like that
balance goes up.
Right, but those mint inscriptions are just kind of like empty shells.
They're useless.
They get discarded, and like they're not even being displayed in like most like platform interfaces and stuff like that because they've had no utility or purpose up until now, right?
That's right.
So it's like we really wanted to unlock that hybridization approach. It's like, you know, you're not just creating like bloat, as some people like to consider it, like Bitcoin bloat. Like you don't need all this like extra JSON just lying around. Let's hide it. Yeah. Let's actually put some value to it. Right now, these mint inscriptions, it's art and it's unique, right? And it's part of like the ethos now of like everything we're doing on Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, and so everything you see here is on chain, and finally these UNATs are going to be indexed by track. So if we go back to the TAP protocol and basically any fungible token protocol is that those mints accrue your balance, and so after that happens, like you're saying, those mints are useless.
Yeah,
and so none of the indexers ever tracked the transfer of these mints because they're meaningless.
There's no point, right?
Right, and so now Track has to update the protocol so that it actually tracks the transfers of these mints.
Yeah,
and so once that happens, you're going to see like an explosion of marketplaces kind of supporting all these like UNATs.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Now it's going to become tradable and like participate in the market dynamics, just like, you know, all the other ordinal assets and stuff. So
yeah.
This is definitely a big deal. Because as you know, the hybrid token, like the UNAT itself, it's one block, one UNAT, right?
Correct.
But like you're saying, the fungible tokens that were generated, the actual NAT token, like hundreds of millions per block.
Correct.
Right? So there's that separation, right? Yeah, there are two assets generated in the same moment, one with its own unique supply, which is like however many blocks exist. So this is going to go on indefinitely, right? This is going to outlive us.
Yeah, 100%.
Way into the future. So now you have this dual utility. Like, how do you form an ecosystem with like these two
distinct?
They're separate, but they're still tied.
Yeah,
together, right? So that's kind of like the big experiment here. Is like how do ecosystems leverage this new tool?
Yeah, and just remember the mint and the fungible tokens are two separate assets.
Yeah.
You can have all the fungible tokens in a single wallet and not have a single art piece.
It's true,
right? So just keep that in mind.
Which is if you've been actively like trading or participating on Ordinal's wallet.
Yeah, correct.
Over the last month or so, yeah, you're probably like, damn, I have like hundreds of billions of these NAT tokens. That must mean I have like a bunch of these, right?
Right. No,
not necessarily. This is like if you were actually like claiming blocks during like the 7-day pre-blockout period, right?
So yeah, so that's another good incentive to like mint these assets, because you never know. It's like the artist or the creator could have art in mind.
Yeah, that's true.
And those assets might become valuable.
Yeah. And this is a perfect demonstration of that, right? It's just so the process of down the road, incorporating this new utility to the mint inscriptions was done through re-inscription, right?
Yeah, that
is like one of the new things for ordinals.
That's right.
And yeah, I think we have some other examples of that, like the chaos token, the NAT chaos.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah. So by Enoch here, so a tiny taste of UNAT. So I'll be in the kitchen over the next few days.
Yeah, so if this is an already deployed non-arbitrary token, I think it's already blocked out as well.
Yeah,
I think around 8,000 mints or something like that. So, like we said, the purpose of this is to demonstrate like now that these deployments can be reinscribed.
Yeah,
and now like a true hybrid approach can be, part of the whole ecosystem design. So
yeah,
looks like these might be some sort of UNATs on the horizon, right?
Yeah, and as an artist, you don't have to be like kind of tied to the art of the token itself. Like for example, on our end,
true. Yeah.
On our end, they look like these dots, right? The circles, like the logo, right?
Correct.
And the same thing with Enoch here, but he's got a story behind all this. It's pretty interesting. But as we have Natcats, like that has nothing to do with like token art. Is like its own thing, right?
Correct.
And so you can kind of open the floodgates on creativity here.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, that is kind of the purpose of all this. So we got Natcats. Chaos is on its way for some sort of UNAT incorporation.
And then BitNats. BitNats has taken over, and a lot of people have been claiming blockheight.bitnats over the weekend or the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And I looked at the current mint number. We're at 158,000
Yeah,
of these BitNat mints.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. So this does, yeah, people have been like, if you go to mscribe, you're going to see a lot of different NAT tokens.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see them, but these are associated to the BitNats, right? They have like a 0x component to them, I think,
correct.
in all of them. So there's documentation out there that kind of describes exactly what .bitnats is, but I've heard some people describe it as, you know, an application of like this digital commodities layer that we've been kind of describing, right?
Yeah, so we have BX11, there's a BX0, BX1, and definitely read up on the documentation. It kind of goes deeper into like the whole community here of why these things exist. So now going back, I wanted to kind of show a quick update here. So a lot of people are wondering, is like, why is there a progress bar called Discover Progress? And the reason why this is here is because there's essentially two types of like DMT tokens.
Yeah.
There are types with where there is no pattern and therefore all blocks are valid. And then there's blocks or tokens with patterns.
Yeah.
And therefore, if a token has a pattern, that means that some blocks do not have that pattern, right? And so there's two types. And so you're going to see two different colors here. There's going to be blue for discovery and green for mint.
Okay.
Right. And so here, in the case of Bit, all blocks are valid. So every single orange block here you can inscribe. And once you do that, you're going to make progress here on this bar. And so essentially 11% of all Bit tokens have been minted here. And so and then if you go look at these other tokens, let's see if we can find one. Let's do the cats.
The Natcats?
The Natcats. Okay. Yeah, as you can see here, the red indicates that someone checked this block to see if a Natcat exists, and it does not.
That's what the red squares indicate.
Yeah.
It's like an active query, essentially. It's like, let me look into this block.
Yeah.
And does pattern exist? Yes or no? So the red is like a definitive, like, no.
Yeah. And so here, other people are checking. It's like, do Natcats exist here? And it says no. And I'm trying to see if I can find like an example of where it does exist, because what you'll see is like it's all grayed out, and then those are the ones that are claimed. So you can see here in the progress is like only few have been discovered, and the so I guess the green is the discovered progress and the blue is the minted progress. So there's only 8,064 cats, Natcats.
Yeah.
And then other people have been looking for Natcats by kind of clicking on different blocks.
Interesting.
But yeah, so this one's completely minted out, and then there's a key here that kind of tells you what you're looking at.
Yeah, so this is the completely new thing that a lot of people, I think, are, you know, this has never really been part of like the minting process ever before, right? So it's a new interface that people have to kind of get comfortable with and used to, and I think it makes sense and it's intuitive if you've been paying attention to like the DMT space like since the beginning. But to newcomers, this is definitely going to take like a little bit of time just to kind of like adjust to this like new format, I guess.
Yeah. Right.
The block discovery, the pattern discovery within blocks and stuff, and it has direct implication if it's specific towards like if you're looking for, you know, a certain asset or not. In this case, the Natcats in the future.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's another cool Nat name? Like the Nat Mats.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a rug. There's
Nat
a rug.
Lads.
Nat Lads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nat. Damn it. Nat. Damn it.
Nat Bats.
Nat Bats. Nat Slaps. I don't know, dude. It's hard, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like this can go on for on and on and on. That the Nat Slaps. I don't know, dude.
Nat Slaps.
Big hands, I guess. Different generated hands. Who knows?
Yeah.
But they're all gonna have their own unique patterns, I'm sure. Some of them, like for whatever reason, maybe like the Natcat set like a.
Oh, dude, let me show you something.
What?
Over the weekend, someone made a huge discovery. Let's go back to NATs.
I do like discoveries.
And Joker. Dude, Joker. Did you see what happened with Joker?
Joker's back, right?
Yeah, he's back. So
damn, that Joker it's pretty slippery.
Watch this. So let me go back to 829,000. And then scroll down, and you'll see people have been claiming the later blocks. Why? Because the Joker pattern occurred again, starting with block 830,600. So it started occurring again, and people discovered it, and now they've been claiming the latest blocks. So this is the first time we've seen a non-arbitrary token actually inflate based off the data.
Wow.
In real time.
And that's crazy because there's not that many Jokers, right?
No, I think there's...
just a couple thousand, I thought.
Yeah, I think there's like 8,000 maybe.
So that reoccurrence has to be like pretty damn rare. So let's see.
Yeah, 4,574.
Yeah, that's how many times that pattern occurred. So it's the 101.
So that means that this has occurred maybe 3 times in existence?
Like periodically?
Yeah.
As a collective? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because these, remember, the 11th field is the bits field, and that changes every 2016 blocks.
Correct.
Because of the difficulty adjustment. So that means that there's 3 occurrences of this on Bitcoin.
Wow, and it just happened to like spin up like right now.
While
we're all paying attention.
Exactly. Dude, this is so crazy. I saw that. I was like, I was really surprised because I didn't think this was going to occur again for a while.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah, that is actually very cool.
Yeah.
Again, talking about the newness, like that's never really been witnessed before.
No.
It's like where block occurrence is like so like interesting, right? You pay attention to the blocks for a whole new slew of reasons, right?
Yeah.
Not just like, oh, where's the Bitcoin flowing?
Yeah, and imagine this happens for Natcats, right? Natcats has a pattern of 3B. And if 3B occurs in the next, 2016 blocks, that's a whole new set of cats.
Yeah. But people aren't anticipating it, right? Because there's been like 4-year
there's
gaps in between every occurrence of this specific pattern, the 3B.
Yeah.
So people are like, it's likely going to be 4 years out the next time a new batch of cats comes on the horizon. But you don't ever make that.
Yeah, you can't ever know.
Assumption, yeah.
You can't ever know because 3B is like essentially random-ish. And so it could occur in the next set of 2016 blocks. And if it does, I mean, someone, there needs to be like a real-time interface of like the block and the data and like which tokens are affected by that data in that block.
I totally agree. Sounds like maybe a good addition to mscribe potentially. I don't know. Or some third party like mempool instance. Just you spin up a new instance to mempool and it's like you're only looking for patterns within like the supported fields of data. It's like, use our APIs for the tokens deployments. It's like, hey,
NATs are here, bits are here, and what do you know? NATs, the Natcats are here.
Yeah, in this case, it'd be like, hey, Joker's in this block. It hasn't been here in 2-3 years.
Yeah. It's like last occurrence was 3 years ago.
Put out a tweet. It's like, the Joker is back. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is ultimately like super cool. And man, it sounds really hard to manage that once there's like thousands of these things.
That's true.
But who cares? That's all in the fun, right?
Yeah.
It's like a whole new CoinGecko. But like a living one. Yeah. Where it's not just static dead tokens that just sit there.
Correct.
These tokens like have life to them,
Yeah.
Non-arbitrary tokens.
Yeah. And then just to kind of look at DMT, Natcats, kind of distribution, different holders here. And then finally we got Universe. That's another one that, let me go back to another one that's been minting as well. Let me go back to here. This one is called Universe. Yeah, this one has 223 holders, 8,773 circulating supply. So I think there's still some to be discovered here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a new Cabal in town too.
Oh yeah, the Cabal.
It's up there. I just saw it next to Universe. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of deployments coming in, dude. A lot.
Yeah, and then these you got to pay attention to the patterns here. 451, 777 for jackpot. Universe is 42. LOL for our Joker, right? It's finally minting again. Infinity 888s. So there's like all these have different occurrences on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then who never knows when they come back. So yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, man. So like we said at the very beginning of this, it's like a new market is emerging before our eyes, and it's really cool to see that you guys are really taking advantage of, you know, the framework that's been put out, and so the new updated version of that for UNATs just to be a little more clearly outlined, and Track is actively working to support all this into the future.
Yeah, so I'm sure you're wondering, well, how do I create art? What do I do? Like, how did you guys do it, and how did Natcats do it? And it's essentially a script that's going to be on chain for Natcats. It's already on chain for the NAT tokens, and it's a template script. So basically, you could take that, remix it, do whatever you want with it, and then inscribe your own UNAT with that data. And so we'll have like documentation out for this and make it clear how to do this. And you'll be surprised how elegantly simple it is to do this. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So that, there's going to be another update here, I guess, in the next week or so with all this information. So,
dude, I'm ready, dude.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for us. If we missed anything, let us know in the comment section below. And as always, appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.